All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everyone is doing really well. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Harvey, and this is presented by Publicity Agents. And we got to talk about some King business here tonight on January 31st, 2024. First of all, peace in. I hope everyone is doing really well. Okay, well, Kings lost tonight to the Miami Heat, 115-106 in the Kaseya Center in South Beach. And that pretty much ends their 4-game winning streak. And they suffered their first loss on the road of the 7-game journey, and that will bring it to 3-1. So out of the 4 games, they done won 3 of them. They have 3 more to go, and they will be in Indianapolis on Friday, February the 2nd to take on the Pacers. But tonight, they just couldn't pull it off to a team they probably have not beaten since Walter Cronkite told us man landed on the moon in 1969. No, I'm just kidding. But Walter Cronkite, one of my favorite journalists, did report that out back in July 1969. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. I'm talking about this loss. Okay, because the Kings have lost to the Heat 31 times. 31 times. They have only beaten them 5 times. So that is pretty concerning. And as a matter of fact, the Kings hasn't had a road win in South Beach since October 29, 2018. And I think we remember that because De'Aaron Fox had a putback that sealed the victory, 6 years ago. Okay, so Miami pretty much have their number. And the reason why I say that, because where one streak ends, and that's the Sacramento Kings 4 straight game winning streak, another one ends. And that is the Miami Heat 7-game losing streak coming into this game. So they were really struggling. And as from my understanding, that is the first streak of any kind in the Eric Spoelstra era, head coach Eric Spoelstra. So I know they were pretty glad to get that out the way and notch a win against the Sacramento Kings. But I really don't know how to count this or, what context to put this in as far as how I'm feeling about this loss, okay? Because the Kings have been playing really well up until this point, okay? And they were down by 18 points in this game as well. 18 points, I want to say, in the first half. So, and they came back and cut it back. I think the closest they cut it back in second half was about 3 points. So, the defense was there for most part of the game. They were really playing some really good defense at first. And just to stay into the game. But then that fourth quarter pretty much, they pretty much caved in at some point. And that was around the defensive zone that the Miami Heat had instituted, which was causing them a lot of problems, at least with passing, shooting, definitely shooting from the perimeter and trying to get points in the paint. And just by looking at it, it seemed that they were trying to not only stop the Kings from shooting threes, because they have been having trouble with teams. He had been having issues with teams shooting 46% in three-point territory beyond the arc. So I think that they know the Kings is like number 3 in the league at shooting threes. So they pretty much neutralize that and trying to figure out some way to, to control Domantas Sabonis, who had a triple-double tonight and who has reached 29 straight games of a double-double. So he tied the franchise record with Oscar Big O Robertson. So the next two games, at least with the Indiana game, if he get a double-double in each the next two games, he will tie Oscar Robertson again, who had another streak of 31 straight double-double. So Domantas, he balled out. He did. He did what he was supposed to do. He had a rough start in the beginning. I think he missed his first 4 or 5 shots before he started getting it going in the second quarter, where he scored 9 points. But yes, he ended up with a triple-double. But once again, I'm not really upset about this loss, and I'm not really happy that they didn't get the win. Okay, like I said, I'm just trying to put this whole thing in context, okay, because it certainly wasn't a bad loss, okay. Miami been having this organization's number for quite some time, at least over the years. Basically in the history of the Miami Heat, because the Kings, who have been through many, many name changes, the Rochester Royals, the Kansas City Kings, the Kansas City Omaha Kings, and now, the Sacramento Kings, they've been doing this they've been that for 100 years. The Heat was one of those expansion teams in the 1990s. And ever since then, at least the Kings being here in Sacramento since 1985, they have been holding it down as far as victories on the Kings. But tonight, I liked a lot of things that was going on, but no, they didn't get the victory. So the Kings, they fall to 27 and 19 on the season, and they are now 13 and 11 on the road. As I said once before, that ended a 3-game winning streak on the road. Okay, they first in these first of these 4 games, so they still in pretty good shape. All they still need is one more win, and they'll be over 500 at least on this 7-game trip. The Heat, they improved to 25 and 23 and 13 and 11 at home. They really been struggling. This is a team that made it to the NBA Finals last year, but this was something that they had to have, okay? And they had it with another one of the Kings' nemesis, and Terry Rozier, okay? Terry Rozier cooked the Kings for 34 points on January 2nd in Sacramento. They also won that game. I think it was 111 to 104 at Golden One Center. And he was behind all that damage, chaos that caused Kings to lose. But he was in a different uniform, the Charlotte Hornet. And they came to Sacramento with an 11-game losing streak. So I find it kind of ironic that, Terry, he gets traded to Miami, all right? And in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, he's there when another team stopped the streak, and they did it on the Sacramento Kings. Okay, now he wasn't involved in all 7 of those losses. He came in when they were on a 3-game losing streak. So the loser of the last 4, he was in uniform. So actually, he get his first win as a Miami Heat. Okay, he was traded there in exchange for Kyle Lowry, who was in Charlotte. But I'm hearing, they may be working out some details to buy out his contract so he can move on. And, rumor has it, he may be headed to the Lakers, but that's something different. Everything changes up to the minute. So, but interestingly enough, he didn't do that tonight. Scary Terry didn't do that type of damage tonight. Okay, he only had 3 points, but he had 10 assists. 10 assists in 30 minutes. 5 rebounds. 10 assists. Okay. The Heat had 38 total assists tonight. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, which I was listening to the telecast, at least with Kyle Draper and Katie Christensen, who were calling the game, that in the second half, every assist that was made by the Heat, they scored. Okay. So right now, I won't even quote me on that, but that's what I heard them say. And they're pretty accurate. They're pretty accurate with their information. So that was kind of crazy. But I mean, 38 assists is crazy. Okay. Matter of fact, the Heat shot 46% behind the arc on the Kings. Okay. The Kings, what did they do? Kings shot 30%, 3-point territory. They were 12 for 40. So yeah, Scary Terry, you done did it to the Kings again. 10 assists out of those 38 helpers by the Heat as a whole. Yeah. Yes. But let me start here. Let me go here. Keegan Murray had a big night. All right. The other night, that would have been in, what do you have? He had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals, I think, in that Memphis game. Okay. I still thought he was pretty effective, though he had these low numbers and stuff. Well, he came out like gangbusters in this game against the Heat. He had 33 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was 12 for 18 shooting from the field, 7-11 in 3-point territory. He made both his free throws. He had 2 free throws. He made them both. And this all was done in 38 minutes. He was pretty much the key of keeping the Kings in the game. Doing his thing, two-way thunder. Okay. I'm talking about playing on the offense and the defensive end. There was a time that he was holding Jimmy Butler, and I think he picked up not two quick fouls, but 2 fouls in the first half that probably slowed him down a little bit. But I think at this point, Keegan is learning, to play with fouls, okay, or at least not get in that area where he'll get in trouble, with these penalties where you have to sit down and stuff. But at times you see him on Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler, okay? You know how to get to the free throw line, and he was doing exactly that. That was his business tonight. So, yeah, DeMontis had another monster game, okay? He's just doing it, and hopefully we'll find out tomorrow where he and De'Aaron Fox stand as far as reserves for the NBA All-Star game that will be played in Indianapolis, Indiana. DeMontis, 19 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists with the triple-double. He was 7 for 14 shooting from the field. He made a tray in 3-point territory. He was 4 for 6 in free throws. He had 1 steal and 1 block. Just the usual, just the standard with this guy. He does whatever he can to help his team win. Tonight he had a triple-double. He continued his double-double streak. That's Domantas Sabonis, and I'm really looking forward to him to make the All-Star team for sure, because I think he probably have more of a better shot than De'Aaron. I would love to see De'Aaron to get in there because he did have a beautiful start at the beginning of the season. The last 2-3 weeks, kind of scaled back a little bit, but he's been doing this thing. He didn't have a hot night tonight, I have to admit, too. But he still deserves a chance at making that 12-man roster. So Kevin Huerter, still showing some consistency there. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steals in 38 minutes, 6 for 12 shooting from the field. He was 2 for 6 in 3-point territory. Once again, that was in 38 minutes. And let me move on down to Fox. De'Aaron only had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Okay. Basically not a good shooting performance tonight. He was 4 for 16 shooting from the floor. And he made 1 of 8 3-pointers and 4 or 6 from the free throw line. So that's pretty much where he stands in the stat box. That's his stat line. The team was they shot 41 for 93, 44% from the floor as a whole, as a unit. Once again, made 12 of 40 shots in 3-point territory, 30%, and 12 of 18. So they fell back a little bit on these free throws. At least a few other people was able to get some activity at the charity stripe, because De'Aaron was the only person who made free throws in your game against Memphis. He had 10 attempts and he made 6 of them. So they were 12 for 18 at 66% from the free throw line. This wasn't really a difference maker at all. I would have to say that for tonight, but they got 12 points out of it. But they have to get those shoot. I mean, don't you want to be a good free throw shooting team? That's somebody, a friend asking, a journalist or reporter just asking, don't you want to be just that? Do you want to be a free throw shooting team as well as being great? Okay, on your way from being good to great. Be on y'all about that. Now, another concerning thing too. The bench only produced the bench only produced 18 points tonight. Let me check that again. Yes, 18 points. Okay. The Heat, 50 points. Okay, and that was behind Josh. Who was that one? That was Josh Richardson. He came off the bench as a reserve for the Heat. I'm going to talk about him in a second. But the Kings only produced 18 points. Now, I know that I think they only had probably about that amount in the last game too, but the Kings won that game, so it wasn't a factor there. Okay, but I'm seeing now in the last few games, okay, whether they win or not, that the bench production is really, really, low on fuel. And the person who's supposed to be bringing that energy is Malik Monk. He's supposed to be that playmaker who comes in there and make things happen for everybody. And he only played, 14 minutes tonight. Yeah, he was 3 for 8 from the field. Okay, he didn't even make a 3-point basket. He was 0 for 4 in that category. And he didn't even touch the free throw line at all. He was 0 for 0, of course. Okay. David Mitchell had 3 points. Trey Lyles, 5 points. Once again, Monk, 6 points. JaVale McGee, 4 points and 4 rebounds. All right. Not saying that this was the fault of the bench, but that's just basically where they are right now, because the Miami Heat bench, they had the energy, okay, at least to carry them all the way through this game to get that win in that 7-game losing streak. So, yeah, that's pretty much the stat lines for the Sacramento Kings tonight. Now, like I said, I'm not really upset. I'm not happy. I'm not mad. I'm just in the middle, with this loss. Okay, you can't win them all anyway, but, you would like to see them go in there and kept the pressure on the Miami Heat if they, dealing with these struggles, even that, despite the fact that it was on their own floor, stuff, letter. But I would say they played well, the Kings, for at least 2/3 of the game. It's just that it was just not enough to, put a dent in what the Heat were doing tonight. And I think, I'll say it again, that zone in the second half, at least in that fourth quarter, was causing them some problems. So it seemed in some areas, you were prepared to do these things. You knew what they were, they were giving up these 3-pointers. So, okay. But the shots wasn't falling tonight for the Kings, okay? But then Mike Brown and his coaching staff, I'm not putting any blame on them either, but what do we do when they come in here and implement a zone. Okay. All right. The thing is, shoot over the top of it. Okay. I'm aware of that. But then you also want to attack the basket, which I didn't see a whole lot of that done either. When your shot's not falling, maybe, change up the strategy, the plan a little bit, and just, hey, no, we're going straight to the basket and try to get some buckets there. So that zone was pretty much a problem. It was definitely an issue. So Jimmy Butler had 31 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists in 34 minutes. He was 10 for 14 shooting from the field, 2 for 3 in three-point territory. He was 9 for 12 shooting free throws, and he had 1 steal. Okay, but it was that what was that? That third quarter when he got them off. Okay, he scored 12 points in that quarter right after halftime because they were leading 59-55 at halftime, and in the third quarter, the Kings started off pretty well. They started off pretty well. Okay, it was at one point that the Kings and the Heat were tied at 70-70 in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, the Heat went on to outscore the Kings 20-10. So they were up by 90-80, and then Tyler Hero, he hit a 3, and that made it 90-80. 90-80, okay, during that scoring spurt. Okay, then after that, it was 90-80. All right, okay. Keegan Murray got a dunk, and then Fox, he got a little floater in there that he knocked down, and then it was 90-84. So the fourth quarter started 90-84. So the Kings were down by 6 points. But then we'll get all into that later on too. But Josh Richardson, wow. Josh Richardson, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block in 27 minutes. He was 9 for 15 shooting from the field. He was 6 for 10 shooting those threes. Now, the interesting part about that, he entered the game in the first quarter. It was 28-22. All right. The Heat were up 28-22. I'm talking about Josh Richardson. Okay. And this is his second go around with the Heat. Josh, what did it was 28-22 already. So Josh hit a 3. Okay. He hit another 3. Okay. He hit another 3. 3-point territory. Okay. Then he hit a 2-point basket. So what I'm saying here, when he entered the game, he scored 14 points. All by his daddy. No one else scored on the Heat squad. He did that. Okay. He was a one-man scoring show. Okay. A one-man run. Because that was a 14-0 run. And it was all done by Josh Richardson. Okay. All of it was done by Josh Richardson. That increased the lead to 49-31. Because this went into the second quarter. He came in towards the end of the second quarter. Okay. He hit 4 straight trays. Then he hit another basket in the second quarter. All right. And they went up 49-31. So that right there, the Kings were down by 18 points by one man. One person. Josh Richardson. He had a phenomenal night in 27 minutes. Bam Adebayo, hey, 16 points, 11 rebounds in 31 minutes, 8 for 14 from the field. And he had 4 assists on top of that. But it seemed like every bucket that he was getting, every rebound he was pulling down were big plays. So as usual, he did his job. Tyler Hero, okay, we're going to talk about, all this 38 assist stuff that's going on here. 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Okay, 4 for 9 from the field. 2 for 4 from 3-point land, 4 for 6 from the charity stripe. But 8 rebounds, 8 assists from this guy. Playmaker. Kevin Love came in there and hit a couple threes. He finished up with 8 points. Jaime Jaquez, their rookie out of UCLA, he's going to make the all-rookie team without a doubt. Okay, he had 8 points tonight. Won a spectacular night, though I think he hadn't played in the last 5 games, so he's trying to get his feet up under him. But he had 8 points. Okay, he's going to be really good. I don't care what anybody say. Caleb Martin, he only had 7 points, but it seemed like every one of those points meant something, and they did. It really did. Okay. The Heat, 42 for 84 shooting, 50% from the floor, 13 of 28 shooting in 3-point land. Okay, that's 46%. Okay, and they made 18 of 23 from the free throw line. And excuse me, I believe that, if I'm not mistaken here, it was 49 rebounds that they had total in the game. They only had 8 turnovers. I think the Kings only had like 7 or 8 turnovers too. So, yeah, they get a win tonight. So, I'm not too upset. I'm not happy about it. I'm right in the middle about this whole thing because I still think the Kings are still in good shape. They started this game, they were in 5th place, okay, in the Western Conference. So they still high on the charts, as far as I'm concerned, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, they can go to Indianapolis and play the Pacers and get a little get back because they got them. When was that? When they beat the Kings 126-121 here recently. Okay, and they did that without Tyrese Halliburton, who used to be a King, but Buddy Hield, who used to be a King, was still out on the floor, and he was in the mix of all that too. I think he had 12 points and 8 assists in that game at Golden One Center. Okay, right now the Indiana Pacers have a record of 27-21. They are 16-19 at home. They are 6th in the Eastern Conference, but they have a game tomorrow. It'll be pretty interesting. On the first day of February, they play the New York Knicks, and that will means that they'll be on a second end of a back-to-back when they play the Kings Friday. Okay, so that, not saying that it's working against you because anything can happen. Playing the Sacramento Kings, but the Kings, from my understanding, that they will stay in Miami tonight and fly to Indianapolis tomorrow. So they have a little rest while the Pacers take on the Knicks, and they'll be ready for them on a Friday night. So that's pretty much where we're looking at. Okay. And also tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll report on it tomorrow. I'll come back with another telecast for On the Room Cutting Floor, depending on how they roll out the All-Star Reserve sometime tomorrow. So I'll be looking forward to that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. King has only beaten this team 5 times, 36 tries. Well, they'll be coming to Sacramento, and hopefully the Kings can get some get back on that. And the reason why I say that is because they split last year. Okay. Kings won at Golden One Center, and the Heat last year won on their floor. So hopefully when the Heat comes back, history repeat itself. Yeah, folks. So I feel the same way about you. Well, I would say that. I'm just saying how I feel about the whole thing. I really don't think it was a bad showing. Okay, the Kings were down by 18 points. They fought back. They cut the lead. Actually, right before halftime. They cut the lead. Well, yes, they had cut the lead 55-52 on a 3-point play by Davion Mitchell. So that's the closest that they got to them at that point in the first half. They never got it closer to 6 points to the Heat. And hey, you know, you gotta play 30. You gotta play defense 48 minutes, and on top of that, you have to knock down your shots. So you gotta get stops. You gotta knock down your shots. It was an opportunity. It's in the past now. Let's move on. Try to get back. You know, in Indianapolis, they will be taking on Tyrese. Tyrese did not play in the last game where he was nursing a hamstring injury at that time. So should be a pretty exciting game. Of course, I'll be there after that one too. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. I'll try to do these things 30 minutes or under. Right now I'm at 31 minutes. And it was nice talking to you. And please, you know, hit the subscribe button, you know, and the like button. I appreciate you. I'll be back. I just feel like I'm getting better and better at doing this. Just like to keep my energy up as well. But thanks for listening in. I will be back after the Indiana Pacers Sacramento Kings game. In the meantime, love, peace, and solidarity. I'm out.